You're listening to Behind the Bulldogs on News Radio WBRN.
Off the left side to the end zone. Touchdown Bulldogs.
If I'm even having like a bad day on the course or something, I just look down at it and just feel like thankful that I'm able to be out there.
Making sure that we're like where our feet are and we're not thinking about outside distractions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back here to Behind the Bulldogs. We got the dynamic duo in the house today, the OG2, if you will, the dynamic duo. Myself, Brandon Worth, joined as always by Tatum Outlaw. Tatum, what is going on?
My voice is back.
Your voice is back.
I'm really excited about that, and I'll probably be talking about a lot of stuff this episode, so I think it's a blessing my voice is back.
Yeah, you might break the record for longest speech in said podcast of the year so far, because we are talking about her teammates, her team in volleyball, and what a season we had last year, talking about this year, why you should expect success again here in 2025, as well as some breakout picks. The schedule, we'll break that down and how it is tough as always, and we'll break down everything that you need to know about volleyball. But before we do that, big thanks to Dazos Digital. Target your target audience with the experts at DazosDigital.com. They can help you with advertising, whether it's video display, audio display, streaming, and more. Find out more at DazosDigital.org. All right, let's get into it. Immediately off the top, I mean, this was an incredible season. 2024 was a special one. As just from a fan's perspective, it was incredible. I know, Tatum, you as the player on this team with your teammates, I mean, it sounded like this was the year that you expected, with the confidence going into the preseason last year, going into the start of the season. And I got to be honest, I thought, man, they're very confident, hopefully not overconfident. And that was the case no more after the first game. We figured it out right away. It was a special team, 35 wins, a regional championship, very special season. And it was one that also had some trials and tribulations along the way too.
For sure. I think we definitely were confident coming into the season. However, we did have a very similar starting lineup the last 3 years. I mean, I think for the very crucial positions like setter, libero, and some of our like key hitters, it had been the same the last couple of years. So I think we were only getting better. And I think as our bench depth started to grow and we were able to make subs, if those starters needed to be subbed out, I think that just made our team stronger. And definitely after our first win, I think is when the confidence really grew after West Texas A&M. I mean, we beat them in 5 sets and they were ranked 5th in the nation. Not sure where we were ranked at that point, but definitely not 5th. And I just remember after we beat them, which kind of silly to like jump to conclusions off of your first game, but we were like, wait a minute, like this is the first game. We're only gonna get better from here. We can do a lot with this. So that definitely kickstarted our season.
Yeah, that first match against West Texas A&M, many people watching could just tell the grit and resilience was going to be there in big games. And of course, after that first win, as you mentioned, it was like, oh man, this could be but hold the brakes a little bit, hold the phone. But then you guys went into GV and just dominated in 4 sets. I mean, it really, when you look at the stat sheet, don't even look at the line score as far as the overall 4-match result. It felt like it was a domination of a match, even though it was technically in 4 sets, because you would consider maybe a 3-set as complete domination. But then you go into the conference slate. I mean, there were only a handful of matches really since then on. I can think of Quincy. That was a 5-setter. That was non-conference though. But everything else was 3 or 4 sets against nationally ranked teams like Grand Valley, and like a lot of these good teams, especially you faced in the regional with UMSL and Lewis and Findlay, of course, just the icing on the cake. What a match that was. An incredible environment, an incredible result. And I mean, give credit to Findlay for how well they played, because they really played one of their best games at the best time and get it to that 5th set. But I think it really spoke to the resiliency of this last year's team. And obviously you can attest to it, the practice, the build up for that entirety of the season. I mean, just seeing that comeback in that 5th set against the Oilers to advance on to the national championship tournament, that was a really special moment from a special team.
Yeah, I mean, there was a handful of games that definitely made a huge impact on our team. And one of those games was Findlay. And I always say there's just nothing harder than playing a team that plays like they have nothing to lose. And at a certain point in our season, that's what it became. All of the games became that, because from the other team's perspective, it's like, okay, we're playing the number 1 team in the nation. They've not lost a single game yet. What do we have to lose? Like, let's just swing for the fences here. And that's what a lot of those teams did. I mean, we almost got beat by Michigan Tech in the GLIAC semifinals.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, we beat them in 5 sets, and it was a close 5-set match. And it was just things like that. Like that game was going to make or break their season. So they just gave it their all. Same thing with Finley. So that definitely added a lot of pressure to us, but it's games like that were so fun. Or even Quincy taking it back to the Midwest crossover. That game like elevated our level of play immensely, because that was the first time we were really, really challenged besides our first game of the season. But that game they really challenged us. We had never played a team like them before. All right, was it Quincy?
I think it was Quincy.
Yeah, it was Quincy. Yeah. But yeah, they definitely challenged us. And I remember there was like plays and things we did that game that we were like, we've never done this before. Like we didn't just like maintain our level of play. We rose our level to play, which doesn't happen often.
No.
And I remember we were like, wait a minute, we're capable of way more than we know. So that was just like another boost. So yeah, it was just all the 5-set matches that were my favorite.
Oh, of course. It's the tension, it's the anxiety, it's the pressure. And I'm sure going through a lot of that conference slate, not getting that feeling, you really get your adrenaline pumping against some of those good teams. But we'll talk about some individual leaders. And obviously we can't go any further without mentioning the great season that 5 had. Olivia Henning-Delape, Player of the Year in Division II volleyball. I mean, talk about 4.22 kills per set. And obviously, number one thing at Ferris State, if there's anything that you want to do to be on this team as a recruit, if there's a potential recruit that's interested, swing efficiently and you will find a spot, because it was incredible to see the hitting percentage that everybody had throughout the year. And Olivia was at 328, but she was number 2 by a wide margin for probably arguably the breakout player of the year, as far as, reliving back to last year when we were talking about potential candidates. I mean, Chelsea was awesome. 365 hit percentage. She was a huge spark in the middle. Her and Cyan in and out. It didn't matter. You were getting elite play from either one. And Cyan was right there at 320 as well. Chelsea had 0.90 blocks per set. Olivia had 0.71. Cyan 0.68. I mean, especially you talk about the back row, Leah Violet, Claire Nowicki, they were great. Emma Bleacher as well, doing fantastic things in the back row, and service aces as well. That was one aspect of the game that I don't think was really appreciated enough.
Our secret weapon.
It was really the special teams play that I think really made teams so uncomfortable during games playing against the Bulldogs, because there was no breaks off. It wasn't like, oh yeah, they're going to just serve it over, we can get back to work on it. No, you had to worry about the serve. You had to worry about Corey Wisser coming in and dropping 8 aces in a match. That's something that you had to concern about. Emma was also there. I mean, you had 3 individuals with at least on average, considering 0.33, right around there. I think Kaylee was right around 0.32, but the other 2 were above 0.4. So in a 3-set, you're guaranteeing an ace every single match, at least, if not 2. That's a tough thing to know. You're going to give up points like that each and every set. And obviously, if they play above their game, you're giving up multiple points. And I think that just goes to show all around the board, offense, defense, and obviously serving considerably as special teams as a football crossover reference. I mean, there's no time off for an opponent. You guys had to go. And I think the best thing is going through all these stats wasn't just one person. It was a whole collective effort doing their job and doing it to the best of their abilities and being some of the best in the nation at it.
Well, the thing with volleyball is it's a race to 25. I mean, you need to get to 25 before the other team does. And to do that, you need to be able to score points. And that was something that we worked on. I mean, the spring before, our main goal was skills to kills. What are we going to do to score points? We need to score points. And so, I mean, like, I would look at all of the stats throughout all the teams in the nation, and there would be teams that are ranked number 1 in defensive things. And I'm like, oh, cool. But then I'm like, wait a minute, you don't score points off of how many digs you have. Sure, you can extend the rally, but where you're scoring as points is where you're serving and where you're swinging. And we excelled at serving and our kills. So that ultimately led to a lot of our success, because we could put the ball away. And I think watching the Division I national championship from the year prior, Texas won, they scored so many aces during that match. And I was like, wait a minute, like, we could be that team if we can chip off a couple points here and there and apply pressure to teams with our serve and knock them out of system. That's going to be a huge advantage for us. So those were things we really focused on this spring heading into that season, was our serving and our swinging. And it definitely showed this season. So yeah.
Every swing, every attack was dangerous. I think that's a hard thing for a defensive team to go into.
Every single swing. And I think also we learned from games previous, like there was a team that we had played 2 years ago in regionals, and we knocked them out of system a lot, but they were still able to get kills when they were in a really bad way. And we were like, wait a minute, like we need to be that type of team. So finding ways to get kills in every scenario and just fight for that point rather than just like getting the ball in. Like we always call it pillow fight. We don't want to pillow fight the other team. So I think that also elevated our game too. Like when we are in a bad way, what are we doing to still score the point?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
No pillows to be brought in the arena. I get it. And I won't do that again. Assists per set as well, obviously to highlight Kaylee Mott and what a great career it has been for her as a Bulldog. Really, it was kind of statistically a down year. And that's just because of the fact that you guys were able to scramble and other teams figured out, yeah, she is a weapon as far as that second hit attack, that sneak attack, if you will. So a lot of times they would put in a position where she wouldn't touch the ball. But I mean, you saw such great versatility outside of that as well. I mean, she still almost had 10 assists a set and played very at elite level. Haley Wagner as well got in quite a few of those games just because of the fact, some of those conference games against some lower opponents, you guys were only needed as far as the first teamers, 2 sets, 1.5 sets, and then you would let the reserves run that third set. So statistically, you saw a little bit of variance there, and that's why. But overall, I mean, number 1 team in the nation statistically to highlight the hit percentage. That's a tough thing to do when you're talking about every attacker above a 280 hit percentage, statistically on the that's such a hard thing as an opponent to say, okay, so when they swing, they're going to score at a high point. How do we counter that, Right. And a lot of these teams just weren't able to capitalize defensively. They would have to go with service aces and be really good in the serving, which teams like Findlay did at a very well level. I think Quincy, watching that game a little bit, they scrambled a little bit better with the athletes that they had on that team. And so they found a way, but it really goes to be a testament, that the game against Bentley, it really did feel like there were a lot of, like little tiny mistakes here and there that were just a little bit of momentum. And credit Bentley, they did capitalize on those and were able to move on. But simply, if anybody asks about that game, and I think you guys can attest to this as much as the fans saw, it just felt like it was a bad day to have a bad day. That's really because it didn't feel like you guys played at your best. And it was a shame because we know what would have happened if you guys played at your best. You would have had a national championship. But that's just the way the sports goes sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I don't think people really understand how, that was our one loss.
Yeah.
That was
one singular.
At this point, we didn't know how to lose. That was our one loss. And there were little things here and there that we reflect on now that we could have done to prevent that. But people, you guys folded. Did we really though? Did we really fold? That's not what happened at all. For football, for example, they only had 1 loss too, but it happened to be at the very start of their season when it didn't really affect how they were playing in postseason. So it's how the dice rolled, unfortunately. But we still had such a historical season. So
yeah.
But yeah, the game was a little rough. I think also towards the end of our season, teams really prioritized trying their best to shut down Olivia. And she obviously was such a big asset for our team. And we had players that were able to step up on games where Olivia may have, I don't even want to say struggle, where people were really on Olivia and really applying pressure to her. There was other people that were able to step up, but it was just one of those games where it was really hard for other people to step up. And all credit to Bentley. They're a very good defensive team too. And I don't know. I'm very confident in the fact that offense, yes, people will say defense wins championships, but when it comes to volleyball, offense is something that if you have a really good offense, you're going to be really hard to beat. And I think Bentley worked their tails off with their defense that game. We still had tons of aces. We beat them in the serve and pass game. We beat them in kills. We had less hitting errors than them. They attacked the ball more. Our hitting percentage was significantly better. Statistically, it looks like we won that game.
Yes.
It just came down to the final 2 points.
Exactly. And that's just the nature of sport. And many people, of course, my biggest message, especially, doing the radio call for that game was, please don't remember the 1, remember the 35.
Yeah, we didn't sell anything that game. If you look at all the stats, we won that game statistically. It was just points 14 and 15.
Yeah.
So.
And please, I know March Madness is a prevalent thing, and I know that you have this situation where you look at seeding and you say, oh, one versus an 8. There are 200, almost 300 women's volleyball Division II programs. And these are the top 8 in the country.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. Any matchup in the national Elite 8, Final 4, or national championship game, you're getting one of the best teams in the country. And yes, was
sure.
Bentley from a little bit of considerably a weaker regional? Yeah, because we look at rankings where all these teams rank. Oh, they don't have as many ranked teams, so it's theoretically weaker. Not necessarily the same thing, but at the end of the day, please do not remember the 1. Remember the 35.
For sure.
That is what needs to be said. But we're going to run it back for this year. I'm not like saying that you guys were never going to run it back, but it's going to be a different look of a team. We'll talk about here in just a minute, but a lot of great games coming on your guys' schedule. I'm very excited to see. The number one highlighted right out of the gate, you guys are going to Texas once again for that Texas Tyler Invitational. Central Oklahoma, a team, speaking of which, that was in that Elite 8 last year, and that'll be very exciting to see how you guys do against them. Playing some other really good teams. I know West Florida, you guys said there's going to be a pretty good team this year. Regis and Colorado, when you guys go to Colorado for that early tournament. Coach Brandon Wilhelm loves to test you guys at the beginning of the year, but it sounds like from you and other players' perspectives, you guys like that right out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean, Tia is a genius in the sense of, I mean, we're going to Tyler, Texas. These teams that we're playing, these are teams that do fairly well in their conference. So if we're able to go out and beat these teams, it'll only boost our regional rankings if we're beating teams that are excelling in their conference. So hopefully we can go and get stuff done there. And then as for the Colorado Premier, I mean, this tournament is tough. I mean, only the best of the teams go there. The first time we went there, all the teams there were nationally ranked except for us and Lewis, and we were receiving votes. So, I mean, this year we are amongst the ranked teams. So it's a very competitive tournament. There's seeding too for like the second day. So it's not just like everybody plays everybody thing. And I'm just really excited for that one, just to see like where we stand amongst other teams that are playing at our level as well. So hopefully we can pull out some good wins there, which will circle back around in November, not to jump ahead, but whenever the national tournament's coming around. So yeah, I mean, Tia is very intentional with who we're playing in preseason, and it's all just to boost our regional rankings. So
I mean, folks, you just heard her talk about November already. That should get you really excited for what is to come this year. Obviously, you get through the Texas Tyler Invitational, you get through Colorado Premier, you start at home, not having to spend 2 straight weeks on the road, which is very exciting. So the first match at home will be September 19th. You guys get who else, but probably the second toughest team in the conference last year in terms of sets played at Michigan Tech. And then you obviously get Northern Michigan, another team that has been very good over the last couple of years. And then, you know what? Why not just throw in Anchorbone on September 26th at home too? Just why not? We'll just sprinkle that in there too.
We're playing like the top 5 teams in the GLIAC first. So, I mean, Michigan Tech, very competitive. They know how to apply pressure. Northern's always been a great offensive team. Grand Valley, the same. And Wayne State, they are a really aggressive team. They really, like, it's never been like a rivalry between us and Wayne State, but I will say, like, there's definitely pressure there when we're playing them.
Absolutely.
I feel like they're like that for every sport, too.
Yeah.
They just go get it.
They're gritty. They're really gritty.
They definitely are.
It's probably the Dan Campbell Detroit water that they're drinking. There's something with biting kneecaps, and they're in the middle of that too.
There's something over there, yeah.
Exactly. But so you guys will have the first 2 weeks at home in conference play. You also have Wayne State thrown in there, as mentioned. Then be on the road for a little bit. Then you go back to the Midwest Regional Crossover, which is a great tournament idea. It gives you a really good look playing some of those tough teams, and then go back at home against Davenport, Purdue Northwest, a couple weeks on the road, and then you finish out the regular season against Roosevelt and Parkside, heading into the GLIAC tournament, which will start November 19th for the top 8 teams playing onward that Wednesday, then Saturday and Sunday at the top hosting site. And then obviously from then on out, looking into December, that'll be when the NCAA tournament seeding, selection show, and tournament will begin. So that'll be very exciting. This year's team, we'll get into breakout candidates here, but first we'll obviously give you a breakdown of what the roster is going to entail. New faces, new names, but not necessarily a lot of names that you've heard before that are going to get a lot more PT, naturally, right? There's going to be some new names, some freshmen that'll contribute, some transfers that'll contribute, but overall, I mean, anybody that you probably hear this year, there's not going to be any brand new names, you know. Obviously, there might be a Gabby Piazza, right? A freshman that really catches fire, and I don't think she can be picked as a breakout candidate because she really was a breakout last year.
Yeah, she was a breakout last year for sure.
But I mean, obviously, going to be missing Kaylee Mott, Olivia Henneman-Lapi, Claire Nowicki, you can keep the list goes on. Leah Bylot.
7 people.
7 contributing players in probably the starting first 10, you would say. Right. So it's going to be a new team, but that should not have a cause for concern, especially considering a lot of the reserves, how much playing time they had last year. It's not going to be like they're going to be in the bright lights for the very first time. They're experienced against a lot of these teams that you guys are going to play, and that's a very exciting thing to think about.
Well, and I also don't think that people realize, and you guys can't see our stats, but there's a lot, like almost all of the returners that are here now, our stats were all just within a couple numbers from the people who were starting. We were always ready to go sub in any chance of the game, whether we were in or whether we weren't. Our stats were just behind the people that all started. So it's not like we're making this big jump, and that's not just a service anyone that just left. I mean, they were great. They made us better in practice every single day, but the same thing for the people that weren't playing. They were making the starters better in practice every single day. So I think the transition will be a little bit more seamless than what people think. It will be a jump in ways, but I mean, we are a team that has depth. So, I mean, there's never like a huge statistical difference between the people that are playing and the people that aren't playing, maybe except for a couple people like Olivia and Chelsea. Obviously, their numbers were a lot higher, even Leah in a sense too. But there's other spots that I think people will fill in nicely.
Absolutely. And you look at the lineup, not a single player that was obviously that contributed, played a match last year. But not only that, all but 5 played in double-digit number of matches, at least 10. And actually, the lowest number from there is Logan at 13.
Right.
So think about that for you. Obviously, there's a couple players, like Lindsay and Emily that battled injuries, right? So their numbers are obviously lower, but they would have played probably double digits if they were healthy. Maybe they'll be breakouts. You'll have to find out in a second. But you have a lot of good returning players coming back this year. Obviously, Emma Bleacher is going to be a big contributor in the back row. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Haley Wagner as the starting setter. And then you obviously have a lot of good swings on the outside still. Gabby Piazza going to be returning. There's obviously a lot of depth at that position. Obviously, you, Tatum, you haven't rinsed yourself yet in that mix as well. Very good player, as well as you look at Logan Guerin as well. That will probably take some swings on the outside too. So there's a lot of quality and a lot of experience coming back, and that's a really good thing to think about this year. What do you think is going to be the biggest strength of this team this year? Just off the top of your head from what you've seen in the preseason.
I think we're going to be a team that's very resilient. I think we'll be teams that are fighters. We've played a couple teams in our spring season, and obviously those games don't go towards anything, but we played all D1 teams and we beat all of them. And I think we're definitely going to be a team that's underestimated, but I think we will surprise a lot of people.
Yes.
And I think we're going to be tougher than people think. So there's not really one word to sum it up, honestly.
That is so exciting. The fact that you just dropped that on the podcast right now about, we played a couple D1 teams and we
it's out of season, it's spring, but still, these are D1 teams.
You beat D1 teams.
And
it's a D2 team. That shouldn't happen.
We didn't even have all of our people here yet. We have 9 new people that just came onto the team. I think 10 actually. So team's pretty big.
Be excited indeed. Speaking of excitement, it is that time. Breakout candidates here. I'll go first because I know you probably have plenty that you can pick from.
Yeah.
But I'll make one less option available for you. I think we are going to see, obviously, I think people know this person is going to contribute immediately and have great numbers, but I don't think people realize how good she's going to be. And that is Haley Wagner. We are going to see a really good season from her. And I think you go to see the stats. Obviously she played in 27 matches last year as the backup setter. And many people, I remember being in the crowd in some of these big games where it would be a deciding set. And Haley would be coming in for Kaylee Mott. And people are going like, what are we doing? And she would come in and you guys wouldn't miss a beat. And that's not saying anything about, how, Kaylee and obviously and Haley were very close. They were both playing at an elite level. It's not like Kaylee had a bad year. She was playing as good as she's ever been. And she's one of the best setters, if not statistically, one of the best assists and set leaders in program history. She is that good. Right. And Haley is playing up towards that level right away. And I think that goes to show, obviously, the assists per set. She averaged around 3 last year, but you got to consider 27 matches, not as many sets, right? And so that number is going to be, you can easily expect over 8.5, 9 from her this year. And I think you can really see the aggressiveness that she'll learn. And she plays very good defense and she swings very efficiently as well. So I think you're going to see a really big year from her.
Yeah, Haley is very talented and not a lot of people got to see it. And I think setters don't get enough credit at all because it's a very stressful position. And Haley didn't get thrown into games where we were just like whooping a team. She got thrown into games when we were playing a tough team and we needed to pinch out some points. And I think people need to acknowledge that. And it's already stressful enough to be a setter. She got thrown into games where we're like tied up and we need to like get points. So that's a lot of pressure. And so for her to go in there and not only handle it well, but succeed and get the job done, I think that speaks volumes about the type of athlete she is. And I mean, you guys don't get to see her at practice, but her teams always win at practice. Her teams always win. And that's something that we like to keep track of at practice for like the liberos and setters especially. We keep tracks of their wins and their losses and what setters and liberos are making their team win. So, and she's a setter whose team always wins. So she's a great pick. You made a really great pick with that. I'm really excited for everyone to see how she does this season. As for my pick, this one's hard because I see everyone in practice every day and I see everyone's potential.
Hopefully you don't ruin any friendships with your pick.
Yeah, I'm going to pick a returner so that people are familiar, but there's definitely some transfers I've seen also that could be one, but I'm going to go with Lindsay.
Ooh.
Because from a statistical standpoint, I mean, she was injured last season, but from a statistical standpoint, we like our hitters to be hitting at a certain percentage of kills, and she's right on that line. Not even in season yet. And so, I mean, she's only going to get better from the spring to, I guess, when we start in a couple of weeks, she's only going to get better. So she's my pick. I mean, she's 6'5". I think that's an asset. And she's super athletic. She puts the ball away. I mean, as her teammate, it is really hard to defend her in practice. And I mean, her blocking's great. I think she'll just be a really good force in the front row for us. I think she'll pinch out some points for us. She works super hard. She wants it. I mean, volleyball is her life. So I'm going to pick Lindsay.
That's a good one indeed. And many people will probably go home and, look up Lindsay's numbers and they're going to see like, not a lot of blocks, not a lot of kills. There's a reason for that because teams did not hit towards her when she was in the game. I mean, there was only 6 matches that she played last year, obviously battling back from injury, but it was very obvious. Like she played in some of those tournament games in that Midwest Regional and teams were very, very adamant of, let's not swing in the middle because she's going to block it.
Well, and I don't think she had a ton of opportunity either. And I think it is really hard to come off the bench because you want to go in and just not make errors, but you also want to go in and score points. So it's kind of hard figuring out what you want to shoot for at that time. But I think given the opportunity, I mean, both of our starting middles are gone and she's a middle. So I think if she just really steps into that, I think she will definitely shine in that spot.
Yeah, it'll be very exciting indeed. It's very exciting to think about the season. It's just around the corner.
August 16th.
Woo! Be ready, buckle up. You can find out more at FierceStateBulldogs.com. And you can follow this show. We'll be back again next week. Thanks for bearing with us as well after last week. You can check out that radio exclusive episode on WBRN.com under the podcast tab under Behind the Bulldogs. But we'll be back next week. Brody will be with us, and we are talking about the last sport on our series recap, of course, our national champion football team. We're going to have fun with that. And we'll even get Brody's breakout pick from volleyball as well.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to be on the hook for that one too when he gets back. So we'll be looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Well, maybe not seeing you, like actually visually, but having you join us next week for football. Until then, have a great day, everybody. And as always, go Dogs. And we'll see you later, everybody.
Yep. See you next week.